Hi, I'm Jared.
And I'm Brad.
And this week on Hood Slappers, we're going to be reviewing the 2022 Jeep Gladiator.
Don't forget to hit like and subscribe.
To first understand the Jeep Gladiator Rubicon, we must first understand the name.
That's right, the name Rubicon comes from a time when some guy had the gall to build an orange Julius on the wrong side of the river.
Brad, I think you mean when Julius Caesar crossed the Rubicon River when he left Gaul.
Oh, yes, of course, but I'm pretty sure there was an orange Julius involved.
In 49 BC, Caesar managed to cross the Rubicon River paired with his deadly 13th Legion. This was the beginning of his journey back to Rome to start what would become the Roman Civil War. The name Rubicon refers to the river Rubicon that Caesar had to cross to begin his journey through Italy to Rome. Once he crossed the river, war was declared. There was no turning back. And that's where Jeep comes in. The Rubicon is meant to go places with no intention of turning back, ready to face the world.
So we want to know, back in 49 BC, what would the trip from Gaul to Rome be like if Caesar had this, the 2022 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon?
Crossing the river Rubicon was the first of many hurdles for Julius Caesar's journey. Paired with horse and carriage, it posed a lot of issues when crossing. Giving two engine options, the Gladiator Rubicon offers a 3.6-liter V6 offering 285 horsepower, or what we have here, a 3-liter Eco Diesel that boasts its 260 horsepower and 440 pound-foot of torque. Now, back then, the largest Roman legions had somewhere around 300 horses, which technically is more than what this offers. But the Gladiator offers so much more.
And how? With tow hooks in the front and rear of the Gladiator, you have the ability to pull out any stragglers from the mud and water. But if you need direct towing, when paired properly, the Rubicon diesel can tow up to 4,500 pounds, where the gas-powered Rubicon can do up to 7,650 pounds.
Now, we don't know the exact depth of the Rubicon River, but if Caesar's 13th Legion could cross it, then so could the Gladiator, especially with 11 inches of ground clearance and its ability to take on 31.5 inches of water. But what is a Jeep without its off-roading capability?
2 high for your normal driving, 4 high auto for unsure weather like snow or sleet, 4 high part-time for sand or gravel, and 4 low for when you want to cross a river and begin a civil war that will lead to you ruling the world until you're assassinated. If you want to go off-roading, you have options, but one thing Caesar might not be thrilled about is the seats. They're not exactly comfortable, then again, they're not supposed to be comfortable. They're supposed to be rugged. It's a Jeep thing.
And what about Caesar's journey through Italy once he crossed the Rubicon? What would that be like in the Gladiator?
Well, crossing a river is one thing, but the journey from the Rubicon to Rome was over 300 kilometers. That would have taken days, but not in the Gladiator.
But you wish it would, because you would be getting a proper dose of vitamin D in the only pickup truck on the market that's a convertible. Not only can you take off the roof, you can remove the doors and lower the windscreen.
Now, we would show you what that looks like, but to be honest, we're feeling a little lazy.
You're absolutely right, Brad, but we must also consider the features that Caesar would enjoy on his journey.
With a dashboard made to mimic the front end of the Jeep, the setup is very well put together with mixes of practicality and style, offering an 8.4-inch display screen, navigation, heated front seats and steering wheel, Apple CarPlay, remote start, and a digital heads-up screen. Along with the massive screen comes a massive camera both in the front and rear of the Gladiator.
But what about the truck bed? It is a truck after all, so we need to know how many spears, daggers, and ballistas can fit in the back. Now, it's only a 5-foot box, which is not a lot. If you do need a little more space, you can always lower the tailgate, which is very light due to the fact it's made out of aluminum. But we want to keep this a period-appropriate piece, and aluminum wasn't around till circa 1825. Nevertheless, the lightweight tailgate reduces the weight of the Gladiator and ultimately will help with fuel economy.
And with this, you get a combined 10 liters per 100 kilometers, or with a gas-powered engine, 12.6. But once Julius Caesar was done his drive across Italy, he was awaiting his biggest challenge in Rome, a 4-year war. Once he had conquered and won that, Julius, or Jules, as he likes to be known as a Jeep driver, would have to then confront the more daily practical chores that come along with his noble steed, the Gladiator.
Consider cost. The Gladiator starts at $52,740. The one we have here starts at $61,440. But nobody buys a Jeep just to keep it base. You want to add things to it. Now I have the window sticker for this one here, and it has a total of $82,455. The biggest contributor to that price is the diesel engine, which comes in at $7,000 alone.
And that might seem like a lot, but it doesn't seem to be stopping buyers, because the Gladiator finished third in the mid-size pickup class, only behind the Tacoma and Ranger.
Plus, the Gladiator also offers an available portable Bluetooth speaker that our friend, the Dodge Father, told us about. Of course, you can use that anytime Mrs. Caesar decides to kick you out of the house.
Oh, are you kidding me, Mrs. Caesar? We sounded like legit Roman history buffs until that comment. This isn't amateur hour. What's going on?
Well, I thought it was funny. You said a couple dumb things earlier, too.
No. Oh,
After begging our editor to remove that last part from the scene, it was time to drive the Gladiator. Well, Brad, here we are in the Jeep Gladiator Rubicon. First impressions?
Well, I gotta say this, there is something very cool just about Jeep. I can't put my finger on it. It is very cool, but first impression is it's a little bit tight up front here. Like, it feels a little
Could be
crowded
here.
Well, I suppose that could be my first impression with every vehicle we're in, Jared. I don't know. But I mean, this is very unique compared to any other car. The dash, everything, but it just feels a bit tight.
It does. I think it's nice. You know, Jeep is that rugged, you know, outdoorsy kind of thing, but it still looks really good and well put together. It looks fancy. It's the button to screen ratio is spot on, and then you get all your Jeep stuff. You have your drive modes down here. You have your auxiliary ports down there for aftermarket stuff if you wish, and of course, like all Jeeps, you got your windows in the middle there, your power window buttons.
Right. Yes. Why is that, Jared? Tell the viewers. Why is it in the middle?
Well,
I know. Do you know?
I do know.
All right.
I mean, we spoke about this last time. I think we drove the 4XE.
That's right.
But the removal of the doors. But then somebody said, well, if you have the door removed, why do you need the windows down? Because the door's not there.
You
It
know
was a good
what?
question.
Was that by one of our
It
viewers?
was by one of our viewers.
They're smart people.
Wow,
That's a great question.
It's a very good question. So, I don't know. Viewers, I'm sure somebody out there will tell us the proper reason.
To me, to be honest, you mentioned the button ratio. I think this actually looks a little busy. It's busy, you know, a lot of stuff going on.
But it makes sense. Everything's there. Big, hearty knobs.
I do like those.
It's like a chunky soup. You just...
Yeah. Chunky soup. Weird comparison. Chunky soup.
Fall weather, chunky soup.
Okay, all right.
I'm just trying to...
Yeah, bring it together.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Brad, we mentioned earlier that this Jeep Gladiator competes with the likes of the Ranger and the Toyota Tacoma, but I think people look at a Jeep and they tuck the Jeep into its Jeep category. Jeep,
Yeah.
Jeep.
Yeah.
But if you're considering a Tacoma, a Ranger, a Canyon, a Ridgeline, a Frontier, all those things, you should also consider the Jeep because it's in that same class of pickup truck. But the advantage Jeep has is if you buy a Gladiator, you also get everything else that goes with the Jeep. And that, I think, makes it a bit more superior than those other cars.
One of the big calling cards, of course, Jared, for the Jeep is off-roading, of course, right?
Yes.
But get this, Mark Allen, he's the head designer at Jeep. He said that in 2019, only 10 to 15% of Jeep owners actually go off-roading. Now, I suppose that doesn't surprise me, but here's the thing. We did a Subaru review a while back, and they report that only about 20% of their drivers go off-roading. But here's my deal. There's not a chance, in my mind, that more Subaru drivers go off-roading than Jeep.
I think Subaru drivers might be a little more loose.
Very loose.
With what
dirt road. I'm off-roading. Dirt road is off-roading.
I would assume that the chief of design at Jeep would be more real off-roading, where the sway bar disconnect is engaged and stuff like that.
Right.
A little more intense off-roading than just kind of driving down a dirt road.
Yes. But that's pretty low,
That
given how much of the features and selling of Jeep is.
I do think so, but it's also, I got to commend Jeep, because if it's a vehicle that's what you push, and only 10 to 15% of drivers do it, you're also catering to that other 90 and 85% who just want it because it's a Jeep.
You stick to the car stuff, eh?
All
I'll
right,
do the
let's
math.
stick
I'll do the math. That took a little while there.
We got to be accurate and precise.
Yes,
no
right,
matter how
of
long
course.
it takes. Now, while we're at this red light here, Brad, a friend of mine has this exact same car. And
Jeep.
Sorry, exact same Jeep. And I asked him, you know, for real world kind of experience and status, what's his favorite thing about this Jeep? He's never owned a Jeep before this. And he says that this is the best vehicle he's ever owned. First Jeep, says it's the best. He's had Frontiers, he's had Atlases, he's had a whole bunch of things, but he says this is the very best. And the reason why he says, he doesn't go off-roading. Again, he's in the same percentage I would be. But he uses it for his day-to-day driving. To work, to groceries, to the cottage, all that stuff. And he says it's so good to drive and handle in the city. He says it's fantastic, even though it's a Jeep. So there's a bit of real world. He's had it for about a year and a half now. And he says it's the best car he's ever owned. Jeep he's ever owned.
Wow. Okay. Because all the Jeep people I know, they do some off-roading. That's what they brag about. So this guy's saying, what's your friend's name?
Corey.
Corey. Yeah, Corey. All right, so he wasn't made up.
Hold on. You think I made that up?
I know.
I got out of my way
I just
to create a character.
Well, yeah, okay.
And I think my question, this is what everybody wants. This is the question. People are watching our review, and they're saying, but they didn't address this. If you're Julius Caesar in 49 BC, you got the Gladiator, what color are you going to go with? So he's not going with blue.
What? Why not?
This is not a conqueror's car.
What are you talking about? This is beautiful. This blue is amazing.
That's the problem. This is look at that nice individual in that car.
No. What color would you go if you're Julius Caesar?
If I'm Julius Caesar, I'm going to go with red.
Oh, typical. The Imperial Army red.
With gold flecks.
Oh, that would be ugly.
It would be. But I would instill fear in my enemy.
Now, see, I'm inclined to think Julius Caesar was a man of taste. And he would know that this looks best in blue.
Sorry, have you gone for coffee with Julius Caesar?
I feel like I know the guy a bit, you know?
He's your kind of guy?
Well, both of us, we don't turn back, you know? He and I.
You've been in a scooter for the last 2 reviews, I think.
Which was blue. I tell you, blue is hot these days.
Now, last thing, viewers, we want to show you, and this is just a gimmicky thing. Not even gimmicky, it is legitimate. But if you are off-roading, this car has one thing that is tremendous. Not only does it have a backup camera that is so bright and crisp and clear. I mean, this thing, it outshines mine. You know, sometimes at night you have a car, you put it in reverse. That backup camera is still dim until you put your brake lights on, and then it shines a bit more. This is a very bright screen. You can also zoom in, but what I like is you have a front camera that if I want to drive, I can see exactly
Look at that.
where I'm going.
Look at the wheel thing. That's very cool.
Now the other thing too, Brad, if this gets dirty,
May I? I have so few things. Okay.
be my guest.
Okay. You need to clean it. It gets dirty, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, what am I going to do? Do I need to get out of the car, clean it myself? No, sir.
Look at that.
Right? I've never seen that in any car.
That is tremendous. I like that. Now there are a couple cars that have that for the rear camera, but to have a front camera and a washer for it, that is tremendous.
And I love this little tire line thing.
Yeah.
That's great, especially when you're doing the off-roading for the 10 to 15%.
So you can see, and then we can see exactly what we're going to hit,
Okay.
how we need to hit it.
If you could line up could you just take that curb for us? No? Probably not, eh? Okay. Are you not entertained?
Brad?
Sorry.
Anyway, we took you over the Rubicon River, through beautiful Italy, and finally we ended up in Rome. A journey that was over 2,000 years ago by horse, but would have been way cooler with this Jeep has done something amazing with the Gladiator. It gives you everything a mid-size pickup truck would give you, but with the added perks and bonuses that Jeep, and only Jeep, can offer. The Rubicon means to go without turning back, and that's what Jeep has done with this. This is truly a step forward for Jeep, and there is no sign of giving up on this brilliant machine. So with that, I give the 2022 Jeep Gladiator my hood slap of approval.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
A huge shout out goes to our friends at Wellington Motors at 935 Woodlawn Road West in Guelph, Ontario, for allowing us to use this beautiful Jeep Gladiator Rubicon diesel. If you're in the market for one, this car is for sale.